GPT, the new language model that Microsoft has just bought. It's really going to be revolutionising the way we use it for marketing. So at the moment, we think about Google and we do searches on that. It's not going to be long before ChatGPT completely takes over in this space. Probably just a couple of years, if not less than that. So what we want you to do in your construction business is be ahead of the curve, and we want this tool to save you an unbelievable amount of time and also help you target your ideal clients. So I'm just going to show you a quick video on how you can make ChatGPT do that for you. But before we jump into that, if you've played around with the tool, or if you haven't yet, what's going to happen is I'll pretty much predict that in the first 5 minutes you're going to be blown away with it. You're going to be like, wow, this is absolutely incredible. And then after playing around with it for a little while, you try and use it in some real world application and you think, do you know what? It's not quite giving me what I want. It's not giving me the answers I need. The answers back are a little bit vanilla and robotic. And you can get a little bit frustrated with it then and think, actually, am I even going to be able to use this? It looks like too much work. But I promise you, you can if you get these principles right. So let me just show you on my iPad the 3 things you need to think about in order to get your ideal answers or ideal content out of ChatGPT. So that's the goal. We want ideal content. The first thing we have to do in order to get ideal content is we need to feed ChatGPT with the correct prompts. That's absolutely vital. So if you've had a play around with it already, you'll know that whatever input you put into it is the input you'll get back. So maybe let me just give you an example of this, because if you give it rubbish input, it's going to give you rubbish output coming back to you. So let me just share my screen. So whilst in ChatGPT, let's imagine that I want to come up with some social media posts for the next 3 days. So if I just go into ChatGPT and ask that, give me some social media posts on Facebook for the next 3 days. Okay, so that's something. So here we go. It's got a couple of things there. So this is the sort of output we're getting. There you go on day 1. Did you know today is National Nutrition Month, right? So you think, well, what's that got to do with my construction company? Or day 2, Happy International Women's Day. Day 3, Happy Hump Day or Happy World Wildlife Day. So what we've seen there clearly is that the prompt isn't correct that we've put in. We've been way too generic, so we're getting generic prompts back that don't relate to us. So we need to put the correct prompts in. So let's be more specific. I am a loft conversion company. So give me specific posts related to my business. Okay, so now let's get a little bit more specific. Here we go. So day 1, did you know a loft conversion can add up to 20% of the value of your home? Are you in need of more space of your home? A loft conversion would be the perfect solution. Attention homeowners, a loft conversion could be the perfect way to add extra living space without having to move house. All right, so now we're getting a little bit more specific with this, and this is exactly what we need and what we want with our ChatGPT. So that's rule number 1. We've got to get the correct prompts in place at first. If we nail the prompts and we get them right, then we're going to get the right sort of output from ChatGPT. The second frustration that a lot of people have, though, is that sometimes it sounds really vanilla and bland and boring and a little bit like an AI search engine. So how do we get it to talk like us? Well, this is where principle number 2 comes in place. We need ChatGPT to speak in our voice, or your voice. So that's really crucial. We want it to talk like us. So how do we do that? Well, if you've been using social media for a while, and you've been putting those posts in yourself, you've already got a little bit of a language of the way you speak. And your language can be analysed on ChatGPT. So one little hack that you can do is you can take some copies of your posts or blogs. The more content you've got, the better. So for me, because I've written a book, that was really easy. I could put my whole introduction of a book in there. And then I ask ChatGPT, analyse my style of writing. And it will analyse my style completely and then tell me what my style's like. So let's just imagine we've done that now. Let's go back to our screen. And so now for example, let's say my style of writing is friendly, honest, and let's say to the point. I like to use illustration. So you would have got this from ChatGPT, would have given this back to you, and you can save that somewhere. So let's imagine that's my style of writing. So now I say, now rewrite those loft conversion posts above in my style. Let's see what happens. So here we go. So here are rewritten social media posts in a friendly, honest, and to the point style, along with some illustrations. Okay, so let's see some of the illustrations here. So what it's got, so here's the prompt is wrong. So basically what it means by illustration, I've put the wrong thing in. This is asking an illustration like a picture, but that's not what I meant. I meant an example. So I need to change the prompt. So change the illustration to an example instead. Okay. And here we start getting some examples. So it starts putting this in. So we recently worked with a client who wanted to turn their loft into a cozy reading nook, blah, 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 built-in shelving, comfortable seating. So now it starts giving you some examples. Another one who wanted a home gym, designed the perfect space, complete with exercise equipment and natural light. So now we're getting some examples in. So you can have a little play around with that. But what we're really aiming to do here in this context is get our language across, our voice across. Now, the more you use it, the more it'll start becoming familiar with your voice, and you can plug that in to make sure that all your posts come out in the way you speak. So that's the first two things. We want the correct prompts, as you can see, and we want your voice to be used. But there's one more thing that's really important, one more principle, is that we need to be prepared to iterate. So sometimes we need to go in and review it and ask for it again. So we might look at our current posts there and think, they're not too bad, but you know what? They're not quite right. So I need to go back into ChatGPT and say to it, for example, day one isn't very good. Be more specific and provide a call to action at the end. And then all of a sudden, I apologise for the previous post. Here's day one rewritten, and now we've got a much better post that's written there. So, I won't read all through that, but that's what it's going to do for us. So they're the three principles that we need to have in place. It really is incredible, to be fair. Like, you can see how fast it is. I've only just asked for like a 3-day schedule there, but you could easily say, right, let's do a 30-day content calendar. Or you could break it up, do 10 days at a time, or whatever you want to do. Really easy to come up with content for your whole 30 days for marketing. But it does much more than that. This is just a real glimpse of what ChatGPT can do. Just a quick 10-minute video here. I've got a webinar, and I'll try and run this a few times. I think it's going to be really powerful. If you want to know exactly what it can do for your business, how it can transform your marketing, how it can make you connect with your ideal client and understand what they're looking for in your posts and in your blogs and in your content, then this webinar is going to be a game changer for you. ChatGPT is going to revolutionise the way we market, and we don't want you being left behind in your construction business. So come along to that webinar, have a listen, and I think you're going to literally be blown away by some of the tricks and tactics that we're going to use here.